standing alone? Because I've got a piece about the moon for my first one. This is Love Affair with the Moon. Consider the stars, so small, so unfathomable, so beautiful in the night sky. How do we understand this love for what we always see in the stars, what is always just out of reach? How do we get there? We go to the moon and try to learn. We send rockets to Saturn's moon Titan to learn what our planet might have been like when the solar system was created. We want to learn. We want to understand because we are in love. I think everyone loves the moon. We hear of romance under the moonlight. I remember looking at the moon through my telescope when I was 6 years old. And historically, scientifically, I think everyone was transfixed to their televisions or radios when man first landed on the moon. There seemed to be a moment of awe, an inspiration, and amazement when there was that one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Scientists have deduced, in trying to guess how this planet got a moon and how necessary it is for our weathering patterns, that when the moon was first formed, one theory was that it was formed off of a rogue planet that collided with Earth. That the moon was first much, much closer to Earth when it was first formed than it is today. And it was actually maybe only 14,000 miles away. And it is not that current, almost 240,000 mile distance that it is now. Astronomers now estimate that because of gravity's change, the moon every year is 1.5 miles farther away from our Earth. So if you remember the moon looking so big when you looked at it in the night sky when you were little, well, you may have been right. Laurie Anderson, while studying with NASA as their artist in residence, learned that scientists at NASA during the Cold War and during this country's desire for nuclear testing, they considered sending off nuclear bombs on the dark side of the moon. Because, you see, no one sees that side of the moon, and the radiation would be a safe distance from the Earth. And when I heard that, I thought, what would sending nuclear explosions on half of the moon do to its orbit? And what would that do to its effect on the weather? And consider the earthquake that caused the tsunami in Asia. That actually slowed the rotation of the planet for a second. So would explosions on the moon affect our rotation or possibly our orbit? And then I thought, why would anyone ever want to destroy a heavenly body we so need and so don't know enough about? Why would anyone want to destroy something that so many people are so infatuated with, that so many people revere? Astronomy is like a forbidden love affair, something you can never reach, but something you can always admire from afar, something whose constancy gives you hope, even if you're only standing outside in the middle of the night and looking up at its perennial beauty without ever knowing if you would ever get there. Thank you. I had to do my astronomy reference. I haven't done that in a long time, but I thought I would do the view of the alley. There are times when I'd sit on my back porch on the 3rd floor of an apartment complex. And it was really just a balcony, but it was a place to hang out outdoors. And all you could really see was the apartment's back entrance to the alley and maybe the backs of neighbors' homes. Now, keep in mind, this is Chicago, and as a rule, you don't know your neighbors. And when you're a city person, you're used to checking over your shoulder, and you're used to being on your own. And you like having your 5-foot deep porch as a view of the alley. Anyway, I'd sit on my back porch with a glass of wine after work, and I'd watch the neighbor's garage. You see, they had a separate garage from their house next door on that same alley. Now, I don't think they kept cars in this garage. I mean, if they did, they probably just used it to store cars, because I think that garage was really just for storage only. And it must have been full of scrap pieces of wood or something, because I think it was a safe house for them. Because I think every time I sat out on that porch, there would be 1 or 2 foot-long rats. You know, the kind with an 8-inch tail for their foot-long body. There would be at least 2 of them, you know, 1 or 2 of them. They'd always be moving around there. And I know it sounds silly, but I never feared them coming up to my place because I had an open air balcony and I had no food. I think that the rats just had it made in that garage. I have to admit, it was always entertaining to just have some wine and watch the rats in the alley from my back porch. Thanks. Oh, here's another humorous one. Fast food makes finger food. Wendy's has been trying to get into the front of that fast food market, but we don't think that finger food is the way to do it. The Associated Press reported on March 24th that a woman at Wendy's in San Jose ordered chili, but the woman bit into a portion of a human finger. Santa Clara County Health Officer Dr. Martin Fensterscheib said at a news conference that she, quote, did bite down on it and wasn't sure exactly what it was, end quote, though later she was, quote, quite a bit grossed out and vomited a number of times. Officials said that 1 3/8 inches long finger was cooked so that, well, it's safe. No bacteria was able to get to the consumer. Although they believe the finger belonged to a woman because of the long manicured nail, they actually bothered to check the hands of all the employees working at Wendy's that night to show that they all had 10 fingers. Thank you.
Yeah.